Ahabs. Lots and lots of Ahabs. I'm Brian Goulet of the Goulet Pen Company and Ink Nouveau, and I have a lot of Ahabs to show you right now. There were already a lot of Ahabs, but now there's a whole lot more. So, thought it would be worthwhile shooting a video showing you some of the colors, because some of them are kind of close to ones that already exist. So I've got them all here lined up, the latest batch. It's November of 2012 right now, so this is kind of the latest batch of 20 plus Ahabs that have just come out. So without further ado, here is the largest single batch of new Ahab colors that's ever come out. Here are the latest Noodler's Ahabs. There's 23 of them in total. For those of you that aren't familiar with the Noodler's Ahab, it is a flexible nib fountain pen that's only $20. So it's you know, pretty interesting pen that's been around for about a year now. Lots of reviews and stuff. I've got some other videos I've done on the Ahabs. The purpose of this video is really just to show you in video form what the latest colors are that just came out in this batch. So I'm going to take you through each color, and then there are some that you probably may just kind of, if you're familiar at all with the Ahabs, you may say, hey, isn't that kind of close to this other one that's already out? Some of them are kind of close, and I grabbed some of those as well. So I'll be able to show and compare the new colors with the old colors and kind of show you some of the differences. So let's get right to it, because there's a lot of colors to go through. So first one I'm going to start out with is Plum Pearl. Now this is a relatively distinct color from any of the other Ahabs that there are. It is pearlescent, so it's got a bit of sparkle to it. It has a little bit of kind of a pearlescent swirl to it, but not really strong. It's very subtle. So it's mainly kind of just a solid pearl plum color, and that's that. There is the, well, okay, actually I'll just kind of compare as I go here. The one I guess that it could be kind of comparable to that already exists is the King Philip purple, which is a demonstrator, so it's kind of translucent. You know, if you're looking at it in picture form, it might look kind of similar. In person, it's really not all that similar because you got the translucent aspect, and this King Philip is really more of a true purple violet instead of a, you know, kind of plum color. But just to give you a comparison there. The next one is Morgan Silver. And it is a silver pearlescent, kind of the same situation as the Plum Pearl. It's got a little bit of, it's not a different color, it's just kind of a striation within the pearlescent material here. That's going to vary from pen to pen, but it's just kind of a true, you know, silver pearlescent shiny color. Not really very similar to any of the other Ahabs. Next one is Black Pearl. Now it's kind of a solid black, and the pearlescence to it kind of gives it a little bit of a grayish tone. The other one that's comparable to is just the solid black Ahab. And seeing them next to each other, they do look pretty similar, but you can kind of see how the Black Pearl looks a little bit more gray, and that's because of that pearlescent material. So it's got a little bit of the sparkle to it, a little bit of more of a gray tone because of that pearl. Next one we've got is Apache Tortoise, which is this one right here. This one's kind of cool. It's yellow with kind of a pearlescent silver and black striation, and it's also, in parts of it, is a little bit translucent. That's kind of that tortoise aspect of it. Kind of an interesting color. It's not really all that similar to anything else that is in the Ahabs right now. Next one we've got is Mars Pearl. It's a pearlescent red. Got a little bit of an orange tone to it, so it's not like a true red necessarily. But overall, very nice color. It's not translucent at all. It has a little bit of you know, the variation within that pearlescence, but that's about it. Next one we have is Poseidon Pearl. It is a blue, kind of a cobalt blue pearlescent. The one that this kind of looks similar to is the Creeper Cobalt, which is, you know, it's again kind of the same thing as the King Philip. It's translucent, so you can see through it a little bit. The blue is a little bit stronger in the Creeper Cobalt than it is in the Poseidon Pearl. but they're in pictures they might look kind of similar. So I thought it was worth kind of pointing that one out. Next one we've got are some demonstrators that Nathan has kind of put together that are a little more translucent than some of the other ones. So we've got the Green Bay, which is quite translucent, as you can see. You can very clearly see all of the components inside the pen. It's not really all that comparable to anything else that already exists. The next one we have is the Baltic Amber, and this one is again, very translucent yellow color. This one is very similar to the Carniolan Honey. The Carniolan Honey is just a little bit darker, with a little, they're both yellow. It's really, yeah, it's just a little darker. That's about it. Not a huge difference between these two colors. So those ones are very, very similar. These are probably the most similar to what already exists out there. And then the next one we've got here, this is Turk Lagoon, which kind of has a, it's very interesting. It's kind of a minty, it's got kind of a minty look to it. I don't know why, it just reminds me of mint, but it's, there you go. Very, very translucent. Next one we've got is Ahab's Pearl. Now, a lot of people were asking for a white Ahab, and I'm willing to bet that this one will probably be pretty well gone by the time I even shoot this video. But here is your white Ahab, I guess. It's not a pure white, but it's a white pearlescence. Very nice looking pen. Next one we've got is Pequot. This one is kind of a purple with black and some tan striations with some pearlescent silver. A lot of things going on with this pen. Very interesting patterns. I kind of dig this one. I like this one. Not really anything too closely comparable to this one, except for maybe the one that's next to it is kind of similar, which is Iroquois. It's kind of a plum color with a little bit of black and some silver striations. Again, anything that's heavily striated like this is going to vary quite a bit from one pen to another. So, the pens I'm showing you here, if you're going to buy one yourself, realize that it may be more or less striated than what I'm showing you here. This is just kind of a representation of what the colors are. The next one I've got here is Zuni. Zuni is a blue with some kind of goldish tan striations with some black and some pearlescent silver. This one looks kind of similar to Medieval Lapis. Medieval Lapis is a little bit stronger blue. And it's got some strong white striations with black in it as well. So if you kind of replace the white with silver and then tone down the blue a bit, then you've got the Zuni. Next one is the Navajo. It's kind of a teal, turquoise color with some black striations as well as pearlescent silver. So if you like turquoise, it's kind of a similar turquoise to like the Noodler's Nib Creeper. This is the thin pen. Next one we've got here is Midas Pearl. Now this is really just a gold pen. It's not a bright yellow gold. It's kind of a bronzy gold. Some pearlescent striation in there a little bit, but really just kind of a solid gold, hence the Midas name. All right, now the next one we've got here is one that's really pretty close as well. This is the Cherokee Pearl. And this one looks really similar to both the tiger and the pumpkin. Basically it's the same orange, but you've got black and you've got silver, pearlescent silver. So this one here is the pumpkin. So pumpkin is just orange and black, no silver to it at all. So kind of similar, but it's missing that one component. And then the tiger is orange and black with white striation. So this one is the Cherokee is really similar to the tiger, except it's got silver, pearlescent silver instead of white. Now, why are there so many oranges? Well, really, it's because Nathan likes the orange pens. He's expressed that that's kind of his favorite color, so that's why he's coming out with more oranges. Next, we've got Amazon Pearl. This is the green equivalent of some of the others here. It's just kind of a single color of green, very pleasant green. I like it. With just some straight pearlescence in there. Next thing we have is Copernican Pearl. And it's kind of an, well, basically an orange, maybe with a little bit of peach to it. Not really that similar to any of the other Ahabs that already exist. I guess I would classify it probably as an orange. Okay, after that we have Crow, and Crow is black with silver striations in it. Kind of similar to Ivory Darkness. Ivory Darkness is black with white. So it's a little more subtle than Ivory Darkness can be sometimes, because Ivory Darkness sometimes gets these very bold white striations in it. And then with the Crow, you still get, you know, kind of that same effect, but it's toned down a little bit because you get the pearlescent silver instead of the bright white. After that, we have the Pima Tortoise. Again, it's kind of like the other tortoise where it's a little bit translucent in parts. The whole thing is not translucent, so if you're planning on using it as an eyedropper, I don't know how good of a gauge it'll really be, you know, for ink level or anything like that. It's more just that there are certain, you know, striations in here that you can see through more than others. But it's got some orange in here, some yellow, some silver, some black, kind of a lot of things going on. It's an interesting color. Next we've got Huron. Huron is green, black, with some pearlescent silver in there. It's kind of similar to the Green Mountain Ahab, which is just a solid green and black. The Green Mountain is a little bit darker. The green is just a little bit darker, but kind of similar effect. And we have next the Comanche, which is red, black, and pearlescent silver. Not all that different from Cardinal Darkness, which is just red and black striations. Similar red color, but you got that silver component in there in addition to the black. And then last but not least here, I have the Pearl Wampum, which is just a straight kind of purple with pearlescence to it. Looks kind of like the Poseidon Pearl, except it's not quite as, not Poseidon, Plum Pearl. It looks kind of like that, except it's a little lighter, a little more lavender, and the Plum Pearl is kind of a darker, more burgundy, like wine color. So there you have it. Whew. 23 new Ahab colors, lots of different things to choose from. You know, there's, I think now totaling over 50 colors of Ahabs, so you definitely get to pick your choice of them. So hopefully this was something that was enjoyable for you and will help you to figure out what pen might be right for you. So those are all the latest Noodler's Ahabs. If you got any questions or anything, just leave me a comment. I'll hit you back. Thanks so much for spending time with me today, and right on.